Hello there. Welcome back to Taylor's Place. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into Reddit to find some of the craziest and most unexpected reasons why people were fired on their first day at a brand new job. We'll look at a number of different stories and responses created by real Reddit users before AI was readily available. And of course, I saved my favorite post for last. If this is the type of content that excites you, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and/or share this video so that your inner circle can enjoy it too. People who've seen someone get fired on the first day. Why were they fired? Nurse who failed his drug test on the first day. He did the test days prior. We got results on his first day. He replied, "Yay, I thought that might happen," when he was told he failed his UDS. Just turned around and walked out. New substitute teacher fired on day one for writing "Be quiet" in Sharpie on two kids' foreheads. First day, IT guy made his computer's desktop wallpaper a Facebook pic of a female coworker he had just met. Dishwasher pooped his pants, then kept washing dishes. Was in the local Walmart needing to take a leak. Walked into the bathroom to a manager and employee staring down a stall covered in poop. The manager was explaining to the dude that cleaning it is in the job description. The guy responded, "Well, I'm sorry that this is my first day, but nope," and walked out. I hired temp for data input. Her first day, a guy pulled me aside and said, "She can't be here." Apparently, one of our full-time employees had a restraining order against her. I sent the employee home and apologized, then called her agency and told them she was not welcome back. Not sure what the order was for, but my guess is stalking. Homeboy was allowed to play music on Bluetooth for the restaurant on the first day. Went to the bathroom and started watching adult entertainment and forgot he was still on the speakers. Hilarity and dismissal ensued. Dishwasher. First day on the job, went on break and went to the bar next door. Took a while to come back, so chef went and found him. We needed a dishwasher real bad, and he was actually pretty quick at doing dishes. Chef gives him a second chance. Second day, goes on break again and stops at 7-Eleven. Gets a tall boy of Mike's Hard and starts drinking it right outside the back door. We have a picnic table right outside our back door for staff to eat to smoke. Chef finds him again and fires him on the spot. Sad part is, my chef probably wouldn't have cared if he was always drunk. It was the fact he didn't even try to hide it. I was bartending at a sports bar in Hell's Kitchen. New guy training first day, supposedly several years of experience. He attempted to shake a Jack and Coke, and of course covered the bar in his mess. Didn't come back for day two. I worked in a kitchen, and a new guy came in. I asked him to grab something from our cleaning supplies storage, which was in a shed out back. He was gone for a while, so I took a look at the cameras, and he was smoking a blunt while peeing in the shed right next to the cleaning supplies. He was a first-day blackjack dealer. He took in $5 cash and exchanged it for a $500 chip. The lady stared at him for a good 20 seconds, picked up her chip, and left the building. Gaming took his badge shortly after. Our town's prick mayor forced his spoiled prick son to get a job at a restaurant where I worked. On his first day of training as a host, the kid sat in the waiting area looking at his phone instead of standing behind the host's stand greeting customers. The trainer tried to sort him out a couple of times, but he'd just greet one customer, walk them to their table, then go right back to sitting. The manager came to talk to him. Then the kid sighs, says, "I can't do this," and heads for the exit. They told him if he was going to walk off his shift, he shouldn't bother coming back. And the kid just waved on his way out. He only lasted a couple hours. Worked in a chemical plant as QC. To make it short, I was one of the chemists who check if the products were good enough to leave the plant. A guy working in production came for his first day. He took his break, and he lighted a cigarette next to a 10,000 liters acetone tank. He was out before I could even blink an eye. Kid lied about his experience as a foreman and drove a skid into the side of the house we were working on. Forks straight into the siding. It was hilarious, LOL. The afternoon of his first day as a developer, he was noticed downloading the source code of our main product app from the source control system to a personal USB stick. Said he wanted to take it home and mess with it in his spare time. On my first day at Target, another new hire jokingly jumped into the cardboard compactor, and the boss sent him packing instantly. It wasn't on or anything. They just have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to messing around. We'd been on the job for less than an hour, so he made something like $6 total while working for Target. You know deli counters at supermarkets? The machines used to slice the meats. Someone got a job on said counter and refused to use the slicer. Mortgage company, 2017, a manager hired in from outside, not an internal promote, meets his team. I am on it. Probably only 4 to 5 people at that time, but one of them is a very well put-together lady. She is younger than me, and I am younger than the manager guy was. She was super sweet and in no way interested in any office romance, let alone a guy probably twice her age. Literally at the first meeting, right after she introduced herself and said her name, he responded with, "Wow, you're a looker, we should smash, you'd like it," and then he 100% gave the rest of us a Michael Scott look, realizes what he has said is awful, but we just have to marinate in the silence that followed. The victim left the room quietly, told the district manager in the next room over what happened, and the new guy was fired immediately after his welcome. Security guards showed up high and late at work, then crashed the golf cart. She openly bragged to a manager she was amazed she passed the drug test. They even gave her the "yeah, I didn't hear that" line. She repeated herself louder. We fired a 16-year-old girl on her first training shift of being a cashier when the manager caught her doing bong rips in the employee washroom on her 15-minute break. Guy at fast food place showed up drunk and 3 hours late. Then he didn't clock in, just started working. When the manager asked him to clock in, he yelled. She was a tiny lady, so she called in another manager to help fire him. I was working at a large-scale architectural firm in the Bay Area in 2004, and they hired a new guy. And after his orientation and paperwork, he finally gets to his cubicle. The first thing he does is puts on his headphones and blasts death metal, Cannibal Corpse, so loud that everyone can hear, and that's him using headphones. However, that was not what got him fired. His first work item was to write a company-wide email that said Debbie Harry of Blondie was responsible for 9/11, and wrote about 30,000 words for it. I have never seen our HR manager run out of her office so fast. Dude tried to assault a coworker in her car in the parking lot at lunch on his first day. Like, what the absolute fuck, man? Fortunately, another coworker interrupted him before he could do more than scare her. I was a bartender, and it was his first day of training. He smacked my butt when I was bent over to get ice. I flipped out on him, and he got fired in front of me. A new dishwasher was hired. Within 1 hour of him working, he had videotaped me on his phone, made kissing noises at me, and then decided to grab my breast. I didn't even get a chance to say hi, introduce myself, or even get his name. This man decided to straight up SH me. First day, 7 hours into her shift. Gave her reasonable suspicion alcohol breathalyzer, she blew a .12. I fired a man on the first day for incompetence. I work in IT. He claimed to have years of experience, but even after I showed him how to edit a text file in Notepad, he couldn't do it. Fired an employee on their first day when I asked them to turn on their camera for a call, and it wasn't the person I interviewed. Fighting with a customer by getting in their face and yelling at them. The dumbass thought the company owed him loyalty for being an employee. Oh boy, wait until he learns. Edit. For clarity, this guy was 100% at fault. He was damaging an item the customer bought. The customer politely asked him to be more careful, and that was all it took for the guy to snap. I've had to fire 2 people for trying to fight people on the first day. One dude felt threatened by everyone surrounding him like he wasn't sitting right next to our clocking device. Started throwing slurs and trying to, for some reason, fight the only guy who wasn't surrounding him and was just sitting down enjoying his lunch. The second guy wasn't following safety rules and got mad when someone called him out on it. He got into a screaming match with the guy saying he's been doing this for longer than the other guy's been alive. He was a 20-year-old talking to a 50-year-old man who had been doing this work for 30 years. I realized he might be stupid and fired him. He got drunk at a company-sponsored happy hour and tried to convince some of his new co-workers how cool it would be if they could, and proceeded to describe S.A.ing another employee at the event. It wouldn't have mattered who it was, but the icing on the cake was she was the VP of marketing. We hired an exchange admin to manage the company email servers. His background check came back after he started. There was judgment against him from an old employer. He had gotten mad about something and sent threatening emails to customers from the CEO's account. They fired him and sued him. Our management escorted him out. Graphic designer, didn't know how to use a mouse. Similar story. Late 90s, I hired a PhD, whose dissertation was spot-on applicable to a government research organization where I supplied personnel. Sent him to the site, and they called me to tell me he couldn't turn on a computer and had no idea what MS Office and Word were. I called him, and he explained that the paper he had shown me that he had authored was his thoughts but created by his grad students. They handled all the computer stuff. He was practically useless outside of an academic setting. Smart guy, but not smart enough in the skills we needed. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. If you like this content and have not already, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and share your favorite Taylor's Place content.